Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a journey that might honestly change how you view the map of the world. When we hear the word forbidden, our minds usually jump straight to, well, cover-ups. We think of things being maliciously hidden away by people in power. But actually, we're going to flip that script entirely today. We're exploring Earth's forbidden sanctuaries to discover that their inaccessibility isn't just about keeping people out. It's actually about keeping something absolutely essential and pure safely preserved inside. By the end of our time together, you'll likely see these off-limit zones not as frustrating secrets, but as literally vital necessities for our planet. Let's get into it.
Section 1. The Allure of the Forbidden.
Okay, let's dive into this. As humans, we're completely wired to crave the unknown. Think about it. The very moment you put up a wall, draw a line in the sand, and say, "Do not enter under any circumstances," well, that location instantly becomes the absolute only place we want to be. The mystery just pulls us in. So what is the one place on Earth you are strictly, unequivocally forbidden to see? We live in an era of totally unprecedented access. I mean, satellite imagery can show you the roof of your own house, and you can pull a phone out of your pocket to take a virtual walking tour of pretty much any major city on the planet. We are so accustomed to seeing everything, and yet, there are spaces on this Earth intentionally, deliberately blocked from your view. What could possibly warrant that level of secrecy in an age of total visibility?
Well, to answer that, we actually need to look at the number 20. Over in Japan, there's this immensely holy site known as the Ise Grand Shrine. This incredibly sacred, highly complex architectural structure is completely torn down and entirely rebuilt from scratch every 20 years. Just wrap your head around that for a second. Think about the massive dedication, the immense resources, and the generational commitment required to maintain a cycle like that. Every 2 decades, a literal masterpiece is systematically dismantled and painstakingly recreated by skilled artisans. It's a constant, dedicated cycle of renewal.
But get this, the 20-year rebuilding cycle isn't even the most secretive part of this sanctuary. At the very heart of the shrine, buried beneath the layers of this structure that's constantly being remade, lies the unseen central pole. The strict, absolutely unbending rule of this sanctuary is that this central pole must never be seen by the public. No exceptions. Despite all the cyclical construction and destruction, and despite thousands of people knowing it exists, that core element remains forever hidden from our eyes. It is literally the ultimate architectural tease. You know it's there, serving as the spiritual heart of the whole structure, but human eyes are flat out forbidden from ever verifying it.
Section 2. Cultural off-limits sanctuaries.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the Ise Grand Shrine is just one example of a much broader, deeply ingrained pattern in human history. If we compare its physical restriction, hiding a specific architectural object, to something like Mount Athos in Greece, we see a fascinating shift. Mount Athos is another highly revered, completely forbidden sanctuary, but its core restriction operates a bit differently. It enforces a strict, uncompromising ban on women. So it isn't a physical object being hidden in this case, it's a firm, hard boundary enforced against an entire demographic. Both of these are deeply sacred off-limit sanctuaries. The specific rules of exclusion might change depending on the tradition, but the presence of that rigid boundary, that remains exactly the same.
Section 3. The Biological Baseline.
Now, you might be thinking this is all just ancient history, but modern science actually has its very own version of the forbidden sanctuary. It's called the biological baseline. Basically, this is the rigorous scientific practice of studying how life begins from absolute zero, entirely without human interference. To really understand how complex ecosystems form naturally, scientists desperately need a blank canvas, one completely untouched by our messy human footprint. And to get that, they rely on places like Surtsey Island. Surtsey is an intense exclusion zone where humans are strictly kept out so that researchers can observe the completely natural progression of life. It serves as science's most restricted, highly guarded laboratory.
And this brilliantly illustrates the extreme lengths required to maintain that baseline. No crumbs, no seeds, no trash, nothing. It sounds unbelievably strict, right? But consider the profound logic behind it. If a designated researcher visits this island and accidentally drops a single tiny crumb from a sandwich, or say brings in a microscopic seed stuck in the tread of their boot, well, they have instantly compromised the entire sanctuary. They've just introduced outside human-carried variables into a zone that is mathematically supposed to be starting from zero. The exclusion literally has to be total, just like the religious sanctuaries, but here it's protecting the fragile purity of scientific data.
Section 4. Earth's Unspoiled Time Capsules.
So on the surface, religion, culture, and science might seem totally disconnected.
But contrast the hyper-connected, rapidly homogenizing world of modern globalism with the ancient purity of these time capsules. The world most of us interact with every single day is becoming super homogenized, right? We're talking the exact same stores, the same access, the same experiences everywhere you go. Yet these forbidden sanctuaries, whether they're cultural like Icy and Mount Athos or biological like Surtsey Island, are acting as a vital defense by intentionally walling themselves off. Their overarching purpose is to preserve ancient rituals or biological purity by completely 100% rejecting the modern, globalized world.
So the crucial point is exactly what this quote gets at. These forbidden zones are our ultimate defense against global homogenization. They aren't just arbitrary secrets. They're definitely not elitist clubs designed to make you feel left out. They are absolutely essential preservation mechanisms. By remaining forbidden, they stand strong against the flattening tide of total connectivity. They ensure that somewhere on Earth, things remain exactly as they were, untouched, unspoiled, and profoundly different from the rest of our hyper-connected world.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to consider this. In an increasingly connected world, what is the true value of the unknown? We spend so much of our modern lives fighting for total access, demanding to see absolutely everything, and striving to connect every single corner of the globe. But imagine, just for a second, living in a world where we actually succeed. A world where everything is totally accessible, where there are literally zero mysteries left, no untouched biological islands, no unseen sacred poles. I mean, it sounds like a massive victory for access, but perhaps the true, profound value of Earth's unspoiled spaces lies precisely in the humbling fact that we simply cannot have them. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. Keep seeking clear explanations, and above all, keep questioning the boundaries around you.